Hey, what's up guys? Ken from 1L Moto. We're gonna look at the top 3 track-specific limited edition superbike weapons, and we're gonna discuss, are they actually worth it? So stay tuned to the end. We'll show you what we would build for a standard V4 Panigale using the difference in purchase price. Grab yourself a coffee, hit the like and subscribe. Okay, so I'm a bit of a data nerd. I've put together a complete spreadsheet for myself so I can really give you guys some half decent data here. The real question is are these limited edition track bikes really worth the money? So there's a lot of manufacturers bringing them out now. So you've got KTM have got their RC8C, Aprilia have got their XTRENTA, Ducati have a couple. They've got the V4 SP2, they've got the V4R, which everyone loves and knows about already anyway. Are these really bikes which are aimed at races, or are they aimed at weekend warriors who have got a bit of side cash, a few extra hundreds in your pocket, and you're willing to throw down on something which is maybe going to improve your lap time by half a second to a second? So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start from the most expensive and then we'll go to the least expensive. The most expensive is the RSV4 XTRENTA. It's $49,500 US dollars. That's a fair bit of coin. Like that's not shy of the cost of probably a V4R. So you could get a pretty decent customized bike for that if you didn't go down this track specific route. It's based off the standard 2022 RSV4 platform, so same swing arm, same frame, and same engine, but the engine has had some work done to it. So it's an 1100cc V4, shooting out 230 brake horsepower. Just so you know, as we're going, I'll put some of the standard bike stats on screen as well. They don't report their torque, but that's okay. I guarantee it's more than normal anyway. And it's a dry weight of 166 kilos. So it's not the lightest, but it's certainly not that heavy either. If you're Bautista and you're only 57 kilo, then who really cares? I guess the part I like about it the most is the aero, and the fact that the aero really mirrors that GP life, you know, that MotoGP big long front downwing, which gives you all that extra downward force. Now, I don't know if that's really going to be that beneficial for someone like me, but if you're at the point where you're looking to shave milliseconds as opposed to seconds off your lap time, then yeah, I think it's going to matter. You know, if you're a weekend warrior who's just out to have a bit of fun and you got some spare cash, sure, it's a great bike, it looks good, it's going to turn some heads, probably snap some necks. Okay, so it has also got a bespoke SC Project carbon and titanium exhaust, which no doubt sounds amazing, and no doubt is not very cheap either. It's got some Marcanese M7R lightweight rims, which shave a couple of kilo off the bike straight away compared to the standard model. And like all 3 of these bikes, you'll find that it's got specific race dash data usability. So it's really changing the look of that dash to make things like your shift gear indicator, your actual current gear, your data logger for your sector times, all forefront in mind, so that when you're looking, you're seeing what you should be seeing from a racer's perspective. This also has a lower rear scoop. So the little rear scoop, which sits just in front of the back tire, it works to do a couple of things. It improves downforce, improves stability as well through the back of the bike. Okay, so the biggest downfall is there's only 100 of these being made. So no doubt they're probably sold out already, so you'd be looking for a resale if you're getting one, and they're not cheap. Okay, so next cheapest, so this is the middle of the range. Middle of the range. You wouldn't hear that about a KTM superbike often, would you? But this is the KTM RC8C. Now this is a specific bike made for the track. Now the only similarities that really gets taken from a road bike here is it's the same engine as the Super Duke R890. So it's an 889cc engine. But it's been fully worked, so it's a lot lighter. It's got a much better componentry to it. It's geared differently as well. So it's the 889C parallel twin. pumping out 128 brake horsepower. So again, nothing like the 230 that the Aprilia is pumping out, but you'll understand why in a minute. It's because the torque is 101 Newton meters and the dry weight is only 140 kilo. 140 kilo versus 166 kilo for the Aprilia. Okay, the other thing I really love about this KTM is the specific GP style ram air intake through the front of that front screen. So it really helps to drive air in and up over the tank into the airbox. Okay, so on top of that, you've got a lightweight slipper clutch. You've got a 5-inch TFT dash display, which is completely race driven. So it's not a road bike at all. So you're not having to flick through rain mode, sport mode, road mode, whatever to get to it. You've simply got, I think it's race A, race B. You've got a few different derivations of that. And everything on that display is specific for what you want to see when you're racing. So this is a no holds barred, no BS track bike. Okay, so looking at the aero is probably as impressive, if not more impressive than the Aprilia. I think this is even more race and track focused. Even little things like you're actually getting a rain light at the back of the bike. Now you don't even get that on the Aprilia. So you're getting a lot of advanced aero, which you won't see on other bikes unless you're paying an absolute ton of money. Think aka Superleggero. Okay, so here's the kicker. Again, there's only 200 of these being made. So not many, and by all reports that I've read so far in the media, they actually sold out in a couple of minutes. So you'll be looking at a resale, no doubt someone's putting a prime cost on top of that you'll be paying in order to get your hands on one of these beauties. Okay, last on the list is one of my favorites. Now, you've got the Ducati V4 behind us, one of these standard models, although mine's not standard, it's quite customized. And then this is the V4 SP2. So this is the full track weapon bought out by Ducati. So you could go for a V4R and pay a bit more money. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get a lot of the things you're getting on the V4 SP2. So the V4 SP2 has, $36,500 US. So this is the cheapest out of the three bikes. So that's around about 13,000 cheaper than the RSV4 and 2,500 cheaper than the KTM. However, this is a lot more readily available. I couldn't get the exact numbers from Ducati on how many they're releasing. So your 1103cc V4, you're looking at 215.5 brake horsepower, so slightly up on, I think mine was a 208 brake horsepower. So they're all driven off the standard engine, just with slightly lighter weight components and a few other little bits and bobs. 173 kilo, so probably the heaviest out of the three bikes. 123 Newton meters of torque, so my guess is that's probably the torquiest out of all three. I would doubt the Aprilia is more than that. So I think the one thing that lets this bike down for me is that for a track-specific weapon, and maybe it's just because I'm lumping it in with these other two bikes, is that there's not really any difference in the look of this bike compared to a V4S. It doesn't have that, I'll say, sex appeal or race track appeal of either of the other two bikes that have that full-on aero MotoGP style look to them. Okay, so that brings us to, what's the real argument here? Is it, should I go out and spend 36 to 49,000 US dollars just to get a track-focused limited edition bike? If it's limited edition and I ride it off into the first corner, it's not really worth anything anymore anyway. Or can I go and get a base model V4, RSV4, maybe an old KTM 8C, and can I customize it and make it into a better track weapon than if I bought one of these limited edition models? Okay, so let's work off a V4 Panigale as our base platform. $23,000 US just for your purchase. Now this is the standard V4, it's not the V4S, the V4R, any of that. We just want a base model that we can build up of and make it into a track weapon. So one of the first things we need to cover is weight. So A large amount of that weight saving is going to come in carbon wheels. So we would go with Rotobox carbon wheels. You're looking at around the $4,000, $4,100 mark for a set of nice blade, brand new carbon Rotobox wheels. Okay, next is braking. So for braking, we're not going to address the brakes themselves. We're going to actually look at an upgrade in the suspension. So for most track riders, that's mostly just going to be front suspension. We'll probably dial up the rear a little bit and get that tuned for $100. And then we'll get ourselves a set of new Öhlins upgraded shocks with upgraded fork internals for racing. They're $2,550. Aero is a big thing as well. So it's a race bike. We want to save a little bit of weight on the body kit. So going through MotorWorks Canberra, we can get a full body kit painted or decaled to our own bespoke liking, $1,280. Next up is power. So we need some more power out of this bike. It's currently 208 horsepower. We need to drive that up as high as possible. So the fastest, easiest way to do that is to switch out your exhaust. So we're going to switch that out for SC Project full system. This is a race system, it's not a road system. It's $5,040. Now, on top of that, around for $400, we'll do an up map or a tune as well. So a friend tune or an up map, $400. We're looking at a total weight saving there of 5.5 kilo and somewhere between 12 to 15 horsepower. So that's taking us from 208 to around the 220 mark. So on the upside, yes, I think you can. On the downside, it's probably not going to accrue in value as much as a limited edition bike. If you can afford one, buy one. My pick would be the KTM. For the price, the weight savings, all of the absolute full GP style package that you're getting for that bike compared to the other two, I think it's a hands down winner.